Aloha, 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 beautiful soul. Aloha, dear you. Shining, shining, shining you. Welcome in Wednesday V. The day that we are going to look at what is happening in the outside world. How the outside world is always a reflection of the inside world, but is also the one triggering us the most. So today I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on pleasing behavior. For all the pleasers out there, go ahead and follow this one. Follow this little video where I will bring my perspective on the pleasing behavior so that you have the tools to change. And all change starts with being aware. Now, last time on Wednesday V, I was talking about giving and receiving. I was also a little bit talking about the pleaser, but I was relating it to giving and receiving. And a pleaser does whatever is necessary at that moment. Not what the pleaser, what you as a pleaser need at that moment, but what the other one needs. Yeah? True or true? This notion of being a pleaser, of course, it has very deep roots. Be aware of that. Probably you have learned from very early on that you needed to please the people around you to survive. So it is a very much practiced survival mechanism inside of you, whichever age you have, then deduct maybe 2 years, and that's where it started. So me, I'm 47, I have 45 years of pleasing. At least. Probably I already started pleasing the day after I was born, because as a baby you are very receptive of what is happening on the outside world. I'm not sure if you already have the amount of awareness at that moment to know I should be crying or not be crying, or someone will come and help me when I'm crying, or someone will neglect me when I'm crying. But you will get that quite early on in your journey. So that means that this aspect of pleasing, it is really rooted into your system. Don't expect from yourself that you will be able to turn that around from one day to the other. If you can, I really hope you can, and I am totally, completely proud of you that you did and that you managed that. But if at this moment you still have things in which you go into pleasing mode, then I invite you to become aware, to recognize that this is not a coin that you're flipping from one day to the other. It's not a decision that you make and then the next day it is done. I am sorry for the bad news. It is just not that way. That's for every survival system that you have been nurturing, subconsciously nurturing from quite early on in your life. Now, I imagine that a lot of you are thinking, well, it's especially women that have this quality of pleasing. And I don't believe that is true. Because we are generations, especially the generations younger than me, we are generations that are in general raised in families with or absent fathers or divorced families, where you would be living with your mother. I remember I went once on therapy week, and there were a few boys that were really in their softness, you know. They were not homosexual, that's not the same, but they were really in their softness, in their femininity. And at some point the therapist took one of them as an example because this guy was bringing up some troubles that he was having that were not easy to overcome. And then the therapist said, my friend, you need to reclaim your balls. You need to reclaim your balls. Because he, in his way, and of course, pleasing as a woman can look different than pleasing for a man, but he, in his ways, he was sort of castrated by being brought up by his mother and brought up in all this feminine energy. Because it's not only the mother. I'm not sure about you, but my teachers were all female in primary school. And in secondary school, it was more than half of them female. It's only when I started going to practical university that there were men teaching me. That the majority were men. And this is the same for most of the people in my country at least, because all the systems have, at least for the lower ages, women taking care of them. And I'm not saying here that we are doing a bad job as a woman or as a lady or as a mother. I am just saying that the guys, they need to have this exposure to the masculine energy to raise that masculine energy inside of them. Like we women also need that masculine energy so that we have something to bounce back on. Because that's not what women do. Women go with the flow. And as a child you sometimes need to have these boundaries. You need to have these boundaries where you can bounce into, and then you can sort of like recalibrate yourself and like, oh, okay. And in general, that is what men are better at. The women, the mothers, we are good. Well, I'm not a mother, but the women, the mothers, they are good in, okay, where you took those steps out of the comfort zone to praise you, to praise the child. But the men, they are good in helping the child to take that step out of the comfort zone. So you need both. And when you are raised, if you are a guy watching this and you are raised by mother and in a culture where there were especially mother roles, mother figures, female figures, raising you throughout school and I don't know, extracurricular things that you have been doing, then it may be that you have adapted yourself too much to your femininity, to your female feminine energy. And this was so eye-opening to me at that time. It was an eye-opener for me because I never seen guys that way. I really loved it when they were in their feminine power. I never saw it as being something that was disruptive for them. So when this therapist was saying like, reclaim your balls, I was like, oh my God, does that mean it's a problem that they are like this? But it was a problem for that guy, and it was a problem for the other guys. So let's go back to pleasing. I was on a roll here, I'm sorry. People that are pleasing without judging you, really, this is not for me to judge you because I've been a pleaser too, and I still am. In certain situations, I still give out all my power. And I'm like, okay, let me be low profile because this person, I am not sure. And then pleasing is a very easy tool to put in there because it helps you to survive. But for all the pleasers amongst us, the first thing that you will let go of is prioritizing yourself. At the moment that you step into the pleasing, you are walking away from prioritizing yourself. And what does that mean? It means you have a worthiness problem. It means that somewhere in the core of your being, you feel that you are not worthy enough to step up for yourself. You are not worthy enough to raise your voice. You are not worthy enough to be yourself instead of the survival system. Instead of using the survival mechanism of pleasing, you could have chosen to, for example, walk out of that situation, or confront the person, or raise your voice, just speak out whatever was there you were not agreeing with, or that you wanted to share with the other people, but you didn't because you thought it was not acceptable. My question to you, are you tired of being available to everyone except you? Are you really tired of putting all the other ones first and yourself last? Do you still have energy left to take care of all those people? And I imagine it's a whole line of people. Well, I do like this because the screen is not bigger than that, but in the end it is like this. It's a massive row of people ahead of you to serve. Aren't you tired of putting them first? Let me ask you, who comes first for you? Who comes first in your family? Is it your husband? Is it your children? Is it your work? Is it gaining money? What is it? Where are you in that picture? Are you number 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? Maybe there's even parents and family members, and this one cousin that has physical problems, or this one colleague that has burnout, or there are always enough excuses to put them first, you know. There are always enough excuses to put them first. When will you run out of excuses? When? When will you be able to have all those different people, your husband or your boyfriend, your children, I don't know how many they are, your boss, your colleague, your parents, your family. So let us imagine that you are number 7 to take care of. Then imagine yourself ditching one of those persons that always come first and put you there so that you get to place 6. What is it that you need to get there? What is it that you would need to change inside of yourself to start taking the 6th place instead of the 7th? What is it that you need? Because that, like, to go from step 7 to number 1, that is a big leap. Don't expect yourself to do that at once. But for you to go from number 7 to number 6, that's already massive change. What is it? Do you know what you need to get there? Do you know what you need to change? And to be honest, at the moment that you manage yourself to go from number 7 to number 6 on your own priority list, it will become easier to become your own number 5, your own number 4, your own number 3, your own number 2, and at some point you will be your number 1. But you have to start somewhere. If you always have a whole line of people that you think you need to take care of first, then to go from that whole line of people to prioritizing yourself first, that is major. And I imagine that because you cannot even see past all those people, you have no idea how it will look like to prioritize yourself. So what do you need to wish for then? How do you need to imagine that you're there, visualize it? It's almost impossible. So then find who are the people in front of you, the ones that you prioritize, and then from there try to find a way to make yourself more important than the person just before you, that you have put last on your priority list. Seek if you can find that. And reach out. Reach out to anyone. I'm not saying you always have to reach out to me. Reach out to anyone that can help you prioritize yourself first. Take that one step. Go from number 7 to number 6. Or maybe from number 10 to number 9. Or let me do it like that. From number 10 to number 9. Find what is because when you see those people, those names on that paper, you will become more reflective on, okay, does this person really need to get all that attention? Like when it's your children, your husband, and your inner circle, of course. Even though they will benefit more when you prioritize yourself, still it is very relatable. It's very relatable to put them first. But why would you put first your colleagues and your friends? Reflect about that. And reach out to people that can help you. People that can help you take that step to go from number 7 to number 6. Well, I hope I have woken you up a little bit. That was my wish, at least for today. Sending you much, much, much love. Sending you lots of courage on this journey. Know that I love you. And whenever needed, go back to the video. I love you, I love you, I love you. Speak to your mirror. I love you, I love you, I love you. Until you manage to feel that love that you are sending to yourself. It has to start somewhere. Why not let it start with you? Prioritize yourself. Bye-bye. Sending you much, much love. Love you. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, beautiful soul. If there's anything I want you to take from these videos, then it is the permission for you to shine your light. It's the most important thing. So go ahead, shine your light. I love you. Bye-bye.